We didn't come here searching for something to declare. We came in from the evening and found the moment there.
I used to move too quickly when feelings touch my skin, afraid that if I waited, they might not stay within.
I've learned how often meaning arrives when I don't leave, how sitting still with silence can answer what I need.
I don't need to hurry this.
So we sit until the feeling settles. We don't shape it, we don't try. We don't pull it into language. We don't ask it why. If it's meant to stay, it stays gently. If it fades the same. So we sit until the feeling settles without a name.
I've watched how fast a moment breaks when it's pushed to be complete, how closeness turns to distance when it's rushed onto its feet.
I've learned how much can happen when nothing has to change, when you let the quiet do its work without rearranging.
You don't fill the empty spaces. You don't ask me what I feel. You just sit right where you are, and that makes it real. Some things only show if you wait.
So we sit until the feeling settles. We don't rush it into form. We don't ask it to become something louder, something warm. If this calm is what we're holding, we don't push it to explain. So we sit until the feeling settles and remain.
I used to think waiting meant hesitation.
I learned it can mean listening.
I don't scan the moment for direction. I don't test what it might be. I don't brace myself for endings before they found me.
I've lived inside the habit of stepping slightly ahead.
Now I let the moment stay unfinished in my head. I don't need to claim this feeling just to keep it close. I trust the way it settles when it knows.
I don't watch the clock for movement. I don't count the time we spend.
I don't ask this quiet closeness how it plans to end.
I've learned how safety sometimes lives in letting moments breathe,
And trusting that what's gentle doesn't leave.
I don't feel this feeling slipping when it isn't tied or held.
It feels like something choosing us once it's settled.
Maybe love finds balance by staying. So we sit until the feeling settles and it doesn't disappear. It finds its place between us in the way we're here. If it stays because it's true. So we sit until the feeling settles.
Me and you still
Here we wait.
we sit until the feeling settles.
Let the night remain
Unexplained and gentle, unclaimed. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it when it shows. We sit until the feeling settles and love knows.
I've reached the end of wanting, without feeling like I lost. I've walked far enough to know what every question cost.
I used to chase conclusions like they'd give me solid ground. Now I hear how much gets answered when the noise dies down.
I came here without an ending, without something to defend.
I didn't know that staying could feel like arriving at the end.
I don't need the last word,
So we stay without asking what this has to be. We don't need a destination to know where we're standing. If this is where love settles, we let it remain. So we stay without asking. Again, I've carried love like a question. I was scared to answer wrong. I thought choosing meant deciding where everything belonged.
I've seen how certainty can break the things it tries to hold.
How demand and definition can turn warm into cold.
But you don't ask me for a conclusion.
You don't ask me for a conclusion.
You don't press me to explain.
You just sit inside the quiet, and it softens me again.
Some peace arrives,
Undecided. So we stay without asking. We don't pull ahead. We don't borrow from tomorrow to feel what's already said. If this moment is enough, we let it stand. So we stay without asking, hand in hand.
I used to think love needed an answer.
I learned it can be the answer.
I don't feel the need to measure.
What this moment might become
I don't brace myself for endings
before they've even begun.
I've lived inside the habit.
Of preparing to let go,
Now I let this stay unfinished.
and it teaches me to slow.
I don't anchor this to promises.
I don't test how far it goes.
I trust the way this quiet
Stays without needing to know. I don't pack my heart in caution. I don't shorten what I give. I don't live half in the future, just in case you choose to leave.
I've learned how often leaving early but this feels like something truer.
That doesn't strategize.
I don't need this to be forever.
I don't need it to be named.
I just stay right here beside you.
Unashamed, maybe love completes itself by resting. So we stay without asking, and it doesn't fade. It settles in between us, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. So we stay without asking, me and you.
Still here,
No question,
no question.
no fear.
We remain, we stay without asking.
Let the night close in, unexplained and gentle within. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. We stay without asking, and love knows.
I used to think the night required a reason to unfold. I treated every quiet hour like something growing cold. I'd fill the dark with expectations so it wouldn't feel unclear. I didn't know how much the night was already here.
I came prepared with explanations for why I'd have to go. Now I sit inside the stillness and I'm moving slow. I don't need the night to change.
So we let the night be simple. We don't ask it to perform. We don't turn these quiet minutes into something of a warm. If this calm is all it offers,
We don't ask it why.
so we let the night be simple and let it lie.
I've watched how often evenings break under the weight of need, when silence gets mistaken for something incomplete. I fill the dark with conversation just to steady my fear. But you don't fight the quiet, you invite it here.
You don't push the moment forward. You don't hold it tight. You let it rest exactly where it is inside the night. Some peace arrives unannounced. So we let the night be simple. We don't pull ahead. We don't borrow from tomorrow to feel what's already said. If this stillness wants to linger, we don't make it move.
used to think simplicity meant emptiness.
I learned it can mean rest.
I don't feel the urge to complicate what's already enough.
I don't test the strength of closeness just to see if it's tough.
I've lived inside the question of what love should become. Now I hear how much gets answered when nothing has to come.
I don't shape this moment carefully to make sure it will last. I let it stand exactly where it is,
unattached. I don't scan the room for signals.
I don't search your face for proof.
I don't ask this quiet evening what it plans to do.
I've learned how safety sometimes lives
in what is left alone, in letting something stay unforced, unarmed. I don't feel this moment slipping when it isn't named. It feels like something choosing us by staying the same. Maybe love relaxes when it's trusted.
So we let the night be simple, and it doesn't fade. It settles in around us unafraid. If it stays because it's true. So we let the night be simple, me and you. Just this right now.
Right now we rest the night, be simple. Let the hours stay unexplained and gentle, unafraid.
If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it when it shows. We let the night be simple, and love knows. I spend my life believing that love should overflow, that if it didn't give me more, it meant I didn't know. I learned to measure closeness
by how far it tried to reach. I learned to doubt the quiet if it stayed within my speech. I carried hunger like a virtue, like wanting men I cared. I didn't know how much got lost in asking love to dare.
I don't feel that hunger
Here,
so we don't ask for more. We don't lean ahead. We don't borrow from tomorrow to feel what's already said. If this is all the night allows, we let it be enough, so we don't ask for more.
we trust. I've worn desire like direction, like it pointed out the way. I thought love had to expand or slowly fade away.
I learned how often wanting can turn closeness into strain, how asking for more connection
can sound like quiet pain. But you don't reach beyond the moment, you don't ask it to grow. You stay exactly where it is and let it show.
Some fullness comes without addition, so we don't ask for more. We don't pull the thread, we don't turn this gentle moment into something left unsaid. If this calm is what we're holding, we don't ask it to prove, so we don't ask for more.
We move. I thought love was asking.
I learned it can be receiving.
I don't feel the urge to stretch this past the shape it wants to take. I don't test its limits just to see what it might break.
I've watched good moments collapse under pressure they couldn't hold. Now I let this one remain quiet and whole.
I don't add conditions, I don't raise the bar. I stay inside this stillness as it is, as we are.
I don't feel myself withholding when I stop reaching ahead. I don't feel this love diminishing when nothing more is said.
I've learned how presence can be full without becoming loud, how not asking for the future can make the present proud.
I don't feel like I'm missing something.
I don't feel left behind. This feels like a complete moment, standing on its own time.
Maybe love matures by resting, so we don't ask for more, and it doesn't fade. It settles in between us, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. So we don't ask for more. Me and you.
Enough.
Enough.
Right here.
Right here.
Right here we stay.
We don't ask for more. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unstrained. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it when it shows. We don't ask for more, and love knows. I used to treat the silence like a gap I had to close. I'd reach for words too quickly just to steady what I felt. I thought if nothing filled the space, it meant something was wrong, that love required a sentence just to prove it belonged.
I didn't know how much could live inside a moment left alone. I didn't know how calm could sound before it found a tone.
Some quiet holds its own meaning, so we don't fill the silence, we don't rush to speak. We let it stay between us, unpolished, incomplete.
If this quiet has a purpose, we don't ask it why.
So we don't fill the silence, we let it lie.
Watched how quickly closeness fades when it's forced to explain. When every pause becomes a problem, every breath a strain.
I've learned how often love disappears when it's asked to perform, how silence gets mistaken for something cold. But you don't treat the quiet like it needs repair. You sit inside it gently, like you know it's there. Some understanding doesn't speak, so we don't fill the silence,
we don't name the calm,
we don't turn this stillness into something armed. If it deepens, let it deepen.
If it stays, it stays.
So we don't fill the silence, we give it space. I used to think silence meant distance.
I learned it can mean trust.
I don't feel the urge to rescue every pause that lingers long.
I don't fear what might surface if the quiet stays strong.
I've lived inside conversations that never touched the truth.
Now I hear how much is spoken when nothing's forced through.
I don't ask this moment to declare itself aloud. I trust the way it settles when we let it be unbound.
I don't search your face for answers when the words fall away. I don't read the silence like it's something I should sway.
I've learned how safety sometimes lies in what remains unsaid.
In the way the quiet holds us without needing to be led.
I don't feel the space growing empty. It feels full enough to stay.
Like something finding balance in its own way. Maybe love listens more than it explains.
So we don't fill the silence, and it doesn't break.
It opens up around us at its own pace.
If it changes, let it change. If it doesn't, that's fine. So we don't fill the silence, we give it time. Still
Here, here, we listen.
we don't fill the silence. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unstrained. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it when it shows. We don't fill the silence, And that's how love grows. I spent years waiting for permission, for the right time to arrive. I thought love needed preparation just to stay alive. I treated hours like a question I was scared to answer wrong.
I kept listening for direction that never came along. I didn't know how much could happen without a signal or a sign.
I didn't know the night could open without a timeline.
Time never asked me
anything. Time didn't ask us anything. It didn't give a cue. It didn't tell us when to move or what we had to do.
It just passed between our breathing like it always does.
Time didn't ask us anything. It just was.
I've lived my life inside the waiting for the moment to begin. I thought love would feel official once it settled in. I learned how often I postponed what was already here.
Call impatience preparation, call in presence fear.
But you don't look at time like judgment. You don't ask it to decide.
You stay exactly where you are and let it slide.
Some moments arrive unscheduled.
Time didn't ask us anything. It didn't test our faith. It didn't measure what we held or ask us what we'd take.
It moved around us quietly without a fuss.
Time didn't ask us anything.
It just was. I thought time would tell me when.
I learned it just keeps going.
I don't feel the urge to schedule what this closeness wants to be.
I don't count the hours passing just to make them mean.
I've lived inside the habit of waiting to begin.
Now I hear how much is happening.
When nothing's pinned,
I don't mark this moment carefully so it won't be lost. I trust the way it moves through us without a cost.
I don't watch the clock for answers. I don't fear the time that goes. I don't think this quiet fades just because it flows.
I've learned how often love survives by not being timed, by letting moments stay themselves unassigned.
I don't feel behind or early. I don't feel out of line. This feels like something choosing us outside of time. Maybe love lives best unmeasured. Time didn't ask us anything, and it didn't need to. It carried us inside the night like time always do. If it stays because it's true. Time didn't ask us anything. You and you.
Still here.
No clock.
No fear.
We are.
Time didn't ask us anything.
Let the night remain
Unexplained and gentle.
unchained. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. Time didn't ask us anything. And love waits.
I've watched many nights dissolve before the light returned. I learned how often closeness fades before it's earned. I used to leave before the morning, like staying asked too much. I didn't trust what lasted quietly without a rush.
I thought if love survived the dark, it had to change its name. I didn't know it could remain exactly the same.
I don't feel like leaving now.
We're still here when morning comes.
No promises were made.
We didn't swear to anything, we simply stayed.
If the night allowed us rest,
We let it be.
we're still here when morning comes.
You and me. I've seen how often mornings ask for answers from the night, as if what lived in quiet hours needs daylight.
I learned to brace for change at dawn, like calm could not survive. But you don't shift when light arrives, you stay alive.
You don't collect the night as proof, you don't demand it meant. You let it pass into the day as something spent.
Some nights don't end.
They continue. We're still here when morning comes, and nothing breaks. The calm just moves into the light and softly wakes.
If this is all the night became, that's enough.
We're still here when morning comes.
In love.
I didn't expect this to last.
Neither did I.
I'm glad it did.
I don't feel the need to gather meaning from the hours gone. I don't summarize the silence just to move on.
I've lived inside departures that felt rehearsed and clean. This feels like something gentler, unseen.
I don't pack up the closeness when the light appears. I let it stand beside us, unclear.
I don't feel the morning judging what the night allowed. I don't feel the calm diminish just because it's loud.
I've learned how love sometimes survives by not declaring change, by letting what was quiet rearrange.
I don't feel like something ended, it feels like something stayed, in a different kind of light, unafraid.
Maybe love proves itself
By remaining, we're still here when morning comes, and it feels right.
what lived in shadow lives in light.
If it stays because
It's true,
we're still here when morning comes. Me and you,
still here,
still here,
no fear.
we remain. We're still here when morning comes.
Let the night be past.
What stayed in quiet hours can last.
If the day moves on too fast, we'll take it slow.
We're still here when morning comes, and love knows.
Spend my life believing love should arrive complete, that if it didn't hurry toward me, it was incomplete. I learned how pressure wears things thin, how rushing leaves a mark. I didn't know how much could grow inside the dark.
I came prepared for urgency, for signs I had to see. I didn't know love could move slower and still choose me.
I don't feel behind anymore.
So we let love take its time.
We don't pull it close, we don't force it into meaning, we don't make it grow. If it's meant to stay, it stays gently, without a sign. So we let love take its time.
I've carried longing like a clock, always ticking near. I thought love needed urgency to stay sincere. I've watched how often something good collapsed when pushed too fast, how wanting turned into demand that couldn't last.
But you don't speed the moment up, you don't make it prove. You let love move at its own pace, and I do too.
Some things deepen by waiting. So we let love take its time. We don't interfere, we don't hurry what is finding its way here. If this calm is what we're holding, we don't make it shine. So we let love take its time. I thought time was something to beat,
I learned it could be trusted.
I don't feel the need to accelerate what already fits.
I don't measure love by milestones or what it hits.
I've lived inside impatience that disguised itself as care.
Now I trust the way this closeness stays aware.
I don't push this feeling forward just to make it last. I let it arrive slowly and pass.
I don't fear love losing shape when it isn't led.
I don't feel it growing smaller when nothing's said.
I've learned how often patience holds what force destroys, how love can stay intact without noise.
I don't feel delayed or late. I feel aligned as we let love take its time.
Maybe love matures by moving slowly,
So we let love take its time.
and it doesn't fade, it settles in between us unafraid.
If it stays because it's true.
So we let love take its time.
Me and you,
No rush,
no lowing,
right here.
enough.
We trust.
We let love take its time. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchained. If tomorrow comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. We let love take its time, and love knows.
I used to narrate every feeling like it needed context to survive. I explained myself in advance just to keep the moment alive.
I thought love required translation so it wouldn't be misunderstood. I filled the quiet with intention before it ever could.
I didn't know how heavy language gets when it's always on display.
I didn't know how much could breathe if words stepped away.
I don't feel misunderstood here. So we stopped explaining ourselves. We don't frame what we feel. We don't offer clarification for what's already real. If this closeness knows its place, we let it be. So we stopped explaining ourselves and stayed.
I've carried stories like protection, like they kept me from harm. I thought if I made myself clear, I could keep love warm.
I learned how often explanation turns closeness into strain.
How defending what you feel can feel like pain.
But you don't ask me to define myself. You don't need a reason why.
You listen to what isn't said and
understanding doesn't speak. So we stopped explaining ourselves. We don't justify. We don't turn this quiet knowing into something we supply. If it's here and holding steady, that's enough to see. So we stopped explaining ourselves and breathe.
I used to think clarity meant talking.
I learned it can mean stopping.
I don't rehearse my intentions before I sit with you.
I don't prepare explanations for what this moment might do.
I've lived inside conversations that never reach the truth. Now I trust the kind of closeness that doesn't need a cue. I don't feel the need to present myself in a way that's safe. I let this moment see me without a frame. I don't feel myself reduced when I stop clarifying. I don't feel this closeness weaken when I stop defining. I've learned how freedom sometimes lives in being understood without providing language for what's already good. I don't ask this moment to recognize me by name. I let it know me quietly, all the same. Maybe love arrives when defense leaves. So we stopped explaining ourselves, and nothing fell apart. It settled in the way we stayed unarmed. If it stays because it's true. So we stopped explaining ourselves, me and you. No words,
No need.
just here
Agreed.
we rest.
We stopped explaining ourselves, let the night remain.
Unexplained and gentle, unstrained.
If the morning comes too soon,
We'll meet it as it goes.
we stopped explaining ourselves.
And love knows.
I've known nights that bent under pressure, that lost their shape halfway through, where silence had to justify itself, and calm never knew what to do.
I used to think evenings were fragile, that one wrong word could make them fall, that closeness needed constant tending just to hold at all.
I didn't know a night could stay intact without being rearranged.
I didn't know how much could remain if nothing was changed.
I don't feel this breaking.
The night kept its shape.
We didn't ended.
We didn't ask it to explain itself.
We sat inside it
As it was, and the night kept its shape between us. I've lived through evenings that collapsed under expectations' weight, where every pause felt dangerous, every calm felt late.
I learned how easily stillness,
Can be mistaken for doubt
how nights get thinner and thinner.
when you push them to speak out.
But you don't reshape the moment,
You don't press it to comply,
you let the evening stay itself.
and so do I.
Some things remain whole
If untouched,
the night kept its shape.
we didn't rush it
We didn't carve it,
into something else. We let it hold us as it was, and the night kept its shape between us. I thought nights needed guidance.
I learned they sometimes need trust.
I don't feel the urge to intervene when silence settles in.
I don't brace myself for damage when nothing happens.
I've lived inside relationships that asked me to adjust, to keep the moment balanced by force and by trust. Now I sit inside this evening without fixing what I feel. I trust the way it holds together when left real.
I don't scan the quiet for warning signs.
I don't fear what isn't said.
I don't feel this closeness weakening.
When it isn't led,
I've learned how safety sometimes lies in letting moments stay.
unaltered, uncorrected in their own way.
I don't feel the night slipping.
When it isn't steered,
It feels like something choosing us.
by staying here, maybe love preserved itself by not interfering. The night kept its shape, and it didn't fade. It settled in between us, unafraid. If it stays, it stays because it's true. The night kept its shape, me and you.
Still night,
Still night,
still here.
still here, we trust. The night kept its shape,
Let the hours remain.
unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. The night kept its shape, and love knows. The night kept its shape, and love knows.
used to think love had to enter like a knock upon the door, like it had to stop the moment to become something more.
I believed it came with urgency, with a reason to be loud, like it had to rearrange the room to prove itself aloud.
I didn't know how gently love could move without demanding space.
I didn't know how much could stay intact if nothing changed its pace.
I don't feel interrupted
Here, this is love that doesn't interrupt.
It doesn't pull us out of time.
It doesn't stop the quiet evening
Just to prove that it's alive. If it's real, it moves around us
without asking us to stop.
This is love that doesn't interrupt.
I've seen how often love arrives like an announcement made, turning calm into performance, turning ease into a stage.
I've watched how quickly closeness fades when it asks for center frame, how attention turns to pressure when love needs a name.
But you don't break the rhythm, you don't make the night divide. You let love settle quietly alongside.
Some things belong
without entry.
This is love that doesn't interrupt. It doesn't change our breath. It doesn't ask the moment to become something else. If it stays gently, like it's always been on time. This is love that doesn't interrupt.
I thought love would stop my life.
I learned it could walk with it.
I don't feel the need to reorganize what already fits.
I don't pause this quiet closeness just to examine it.
I've lived inside relationships that demanded to be seen. Now I trust the kind of love that moves unseen.
I don't feel divided by this feeling. I don't feel removed. It stays exactly where I am and lets me move.
I don't feel myself pulled away from who I already am. I don't lose my sense of stillness when you take my hand. I've learned how safety sometimes lies in what doesn't intrude, in love that knows how to arrive unannounced, unproved.
I
Don't feel interrupted by the way you stay. It feels like something continuing in its own way.
Maybe love endures
By blending, this is love that doesn't interrupt, and it doesn't fade. It settles in the way we move, unafraid. If it stays because it's true.
this is love
That doesn't interrupt me and you. Still moving
still moving
together,
together.
together we flow. This is love that doesn't interrupt. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unstrained. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is love that doesn't interrupt, and love knows. He flows.
I spend years defending feelings like they stood on trial. Every touch had to explain itself. Every pause needed a file. I learned how exhausting love becomes when it's asked to testify. I carried proof like armor just to justify.
I didn't know how much could soften when I put it down. I didn't know how calm could sound without a verdict hanging round. I'm not building the case anymore.
There's nothing left to prove between us, nothing left to show. We don't line up reasons just to let the moment know. If you're here and staying quiet, that's already true. There's nothing left to prove between us, me and you.
I've worn certainty like protection, like doubt would break me in. I thought love had to argue just to be let in.
I learned how often closeness shrinks when it's forced to explain how tenderness gets smaller under the weight of being plain.
But you don't question every feeling, you don't ask it to perform. You just stay right where you are, and the room grows warm. Some trust appears when it's not asked for. There's nothing left to prove between us, no defense to make. We don't push this quiet closeness just to see if it will break. If this calm is what we're holding, we don't it to improve. There's nothing left to prove between us, and that's the truth.
I used to think love had to be convincing.
I learned it just had to be honest.
I don't feel the need to justify what this moment might become.
I don't rehearse explanations for what hasn't come.
I've lived inside the habit of defending what I feel. Now I let the moment stand alone, without appeal.
I don't stack reasons side by side. I don't measure worth. I trust the way this stillness holds, without a verdict.
I don't watch your eyes for certainty.
I don't wait for proof. I don't read the silence like it's hiding truth.
I've learned how freedom sometimes lives in letting questions go,
In trusting that what's quiet already knows.
I don't need reassurance.
I don't need control.
This feels like something settled and whole.
Maybe love relaxes when it's trusted.
There's nothing left to prove between us, and it doesn't fade. It settles in the way we sit, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. There's nothing left to prove between us, me and you.
No case,
Just here,
the same.
we know.
There's nothing left to prove between us. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unstrained. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it when it shows. There's nothing left to prove between us. And